There is no surprise here. Like, oh my God, I can't believe Biden was so old. A reality that virtually every American was aware of. This is only breaking news to members of the media that I guess bludgeoned their heads silly until they couldn't see Biden as a belligerent old man. Jon Stewart made some funny jokes about this.
Man, my name is Jon Stewart.
Let's see.
Man, my name is Jon Stewart. What a program we have designed for you tonight. A bespoke artisanal effort that I think you are going to truly love. And Patrick McGee is going to be here. He is discussing. They call him McGee heads. That's the fandom, the Patrick McGee fandom. Here to discuss his new book about how Apple's actions in China shifted the entire global economy. The book is phenomenal. For a book about Apple, it's banana. That's a little, it's a fruit pun.
May 20th, that's Tuesday. Original Sin, that's
Ukraine. Whether somebody can stop Netanyahu, somebody, please. It's not whether Taylor's unfriended Blake. I don't know. No, like most people in America, I am most looking forward to reading a book. But when?
We're back with breaking news in our politics lead and a brand new excerpt from my upcoming book with Axios' Alex Thompson. It's called Original Sin. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. It's on Biden's decline. It's called Original Sin. I'm sure you've heard on May 20th. That's Tuesday. Original Sin. That's coming out in 3 weeks. On May 20th, that's just 19 days.
God damn, bro. He's farming this book so goddamn hard. It's so funny that it is so fucking funny that Biden came out and was like, I got cancer, like right before he released the book finally. I think it's like coming out tomorrow or something, which makes this fucking hilarious because now all the libs that were going to read this book and be like, oh, I can't believe how old Biden was, now hate Jake Tapper and are like, Jake Tapper, you are enemy number one, persona non grata, you fucking piece of shit. And this forces Jake Tapper's hand into, oh, it's today. Oh, sorry, the book dropped today. Now this forces Jake Tapper's hand to do the ass tapping that we love him for against Joe Biden. One last time, even before the June debate, 86% of Americans thought President Biden should not run a second term, including 73% of Democrats. So if there's a scandal here, it is simply one of political hubris. The Democratic establishment who told themselves they are saving democracy, but undercut that message, instead cooking on CNN. Let's watch this first, and then...
Instead, what's your take on it all? What's your take on just the news or just the reaction or whatever?
I mean, I think that the reporting we have known, which is that President Biden, in the eyes of the American people, was clearly unfit to run for another 4 years. I was looking up some of the stats. An ABC poll in February 2024, before that debate.
I mean, there was a poll in 2022 as well, but that goes behind. That is before Jake Tapper started calling him old. So obviously that's...
86% of Americans thought Joe Biden should be running again. 73% of Democrats thought he shouldn't be in the race. And I think even
that's before the debate.
Even when you go back to 2020, I remember being on the trail and people having concerns about Biden's age then. That's why he made the implications about being a bridge to the next generation. That's why he implied possibly that he would think about only serving one term. It's because it was necessary for him to win the presidency the first time. And so now...
Yes! Boycott CNN. Some bitch on Casey Hunt's show just said Biden's legacy will be tarnished by the book's discoveries. Tank Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson's book. Do not buy the damn thing. Yes! Blue MAGA. Oh my God, they want to do BDS. They want to BDS Jake Tapper.
Now that we've come to this point, I think what the book does well is lay out how much of an insider choice it was. And I think that for me, it just underscores how many of these public servants did not have the public in mind at all. Yeah. They decided amongst themselves that Joe Biden deserved another 4 years and then decided that their political incentives meant the whole party fell in line. And so that, I think, is a real scandal, a political establishment, of political insiders, and really putting deference and tradition above their job. Yeah. And so, that's the takeaway I really have. It's sad for Joe Biden and his legacy. It's sad for a Democratic Party who I think really torpedoed a lot of their trust with their base voters. I honestly think it's sad for America because there was an election that should have been...
What do you think of then Hamas killing the protester in Gaza like Odeh Nasser al-Rabai was tortured and killed by Hamas militants in late March 2025 after publicly criticizing the group participating in protests? Yeah, that's really up. You know what should happen? The genocide should end. You know what's really up outside of that? the wholesale slaughter of every Palestinian man, woman, and child, and the purposeful blockade of aid going into the Gaza Strip in a deliberate effort to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip of the 2 million Palestinian population, dropping the metric ton equivalent of 5 atom bombs on the world's largest open air prison. I think that, you know, two things can be right at the same time, right? Do you think that Israel's genocide is going to put an end to things such as this? Is that what you think? Are you jealous that Hamas got to kill this one guy instead of an American weapon that was shipped off to Israel expeditiously? Is that what's going on? Is that why you brought it up? I agree. I don't support Israel either. I just seem like Hamas is not on the side of Palestinians either. Hamas is the only game in town that's actually the Israeli occupying force. So you are wrong. Like, think about it. Israel is displaced millions, every single person in the Gaza Strip, and killed so much more. And you're like, this one guy that Hamas killed, according to reports that I'm seeing, is actually the true evil here. Like, what are you, crazy? Are you insane? Are you on crack? Yeah, great. Dissolve Hamas, okay? Dissolve Hamas as a political entity and allow the Palestinians to democratically elect who they want to elect. Is killing protesters, how is that helping Palestinians? Brother, do you not understand what I'm saying? Do you not understand what I'm saying? I don't care. I don't care about who governs Gaza. I want the Palestinians to have sovereignty. Hello, listen to my words. Listen to my words. Who is a greater hurdle for the Palestinians getting sovereignty? Is it Hamas or is it Israel? It's Israel, by the way. The answer is Israel. You're a moron if you say it's Hamas. Wow, what a brilliant point you brought up. I can't believe Hamas killed a protester. Both are cancer to Palestinians. No, they're not. Shut the fuck up. Hey, I know, look, I'm not a fan of Israel. They've killed a lot of people. But I'll have you consider Hamas killed a protester. And it's really up. It's like, yeah, it is. Okay, it is. You're right. Those people should be criminally charged after the apartheid ends, after the occupation ends. How about that? You want to do that? No, you don't. You just want to keep chirping. This argument did not make sense during the Al Ahli hospital bombing, when Israel defenders were like, Israel would never bomb a hospital. Wow, where are those guys now? But even if it was literally a misfired Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket, which it wasn't, okay, that was just a lie that Israel told. But even if that was the case, like, what is the argument there? Like, only Israel gets to kill Palestinians? Is that the argument? Excuse me. I'm really jealous that that Palestinian Islamic Jihad potentially killed these Palestinians when Israel should have killed them. Is that the argument you're making? Like, what the f are you talking about? There is no way that you could both sides a campaign. Like, there's just not a thing you can do. Yeah, it reminds me of the ones who say, you know, you would get killed for being gay in Gaza to people of the LGBTQ community. Yeah, you would be killed for being gay in Gaza. You would be killed for being straight in Gaza too, except it wouldn't be Hamas killing you. It would be Israel killing you. It's such a shit argument. It's such a stupid argument. It is such a dumb, stupid argument. What the are you saying? Do you listen to yourself? Like, it's like, wait, hold on. I need to, I need more information about the Jews that were sent to the concentration camps and what their political allegiances look like before I can make up my mind about the ethics of the ass argument, you know? Hold on now. Or some of the Jews sent to the concentration camps or the gas chamber where they don't know if they were, then maybe it was all right. Like, is that the argument that you're making? Like, what the fuck kind of stupid argument is this? What do you mean? Terrorists are bad to everyone and Hamas are terrorists is a simple point. You have no argument against it. No, I do. I have a mountain of arguments against it. You want to know what those arguments are? It's that Israel, by that same metric that declares Hamas a terrorist organization, is such a super terrorist organization that you can't even call them the same thing. Because I use these words very carefully, and there is no response to it from Israel defenders who try to say, oh, Israel's bad, but Hamas is worse. That's not true, okay? Israel is far worse than Hamas. Israel is a far larger terrorist entity than Hamas. Israel is Nazi Germany in this circumstance, and Hamas would be the brave resistance force against Nazi Germany in this circumstance, whatever form that might take. Their own political convictions or their own domestic affairs play no role in whether or not Palestinians are worthy of genocide. You are a fucking freak for saying this. But you don't understand it because the terrorism designation is a convenient one that you can slap on to just be like, oh my God, sorry, I hadn't realized this is old Germany. What? Yeah, it is old Germany. It's Nazi Germany. Israel is Nazi Germany. It is exactly like Nazi Germany. Okay? Yeah. Point to one fucking resistance group that has not executed collaborators, dude. I don't know. Maybe the apartheid should have continued in South Africa. After all, the ANC was executing in heinous ways collaborators of apartheid South Africa. So maybe the apartheid should continue? Is that it? Is that the argument? I don't know. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, they fought the Nazis, but they also fought, like, some civilian casualties also died in the process. So I guess, you know, maybe the Holocaust is valid. Is that your argument? No, of course not. You'd be a fucking moron to say that. Oh, the Nat Turner Rebellion was incredibly bloody. They killed children. They killed babies in their fucking cribs. So I guess chattel slavery as a practice should continue? No, of course not, right? So why the fuck do you make that calculation here? It's because you don't see the Palestinians as human beings. That's why. Like, everything that you try to say about Hamas is a million times worse for Israel. Hamas also steals food and aid for the Palestinians. One, that's not true. But even if it was, Israel is denying aid and food into the fucking strip. Also, Hamas are Palestinians. They're not like an alien organization. They didn't like get beamed into fucking the Gaza Strip. They're fucking comprised of orphaned Palestinians that Israel killed in previous incursions. What the fuck? What is this? What is this argument? What is this argument? Dude, I'm here to learn. Don't talk in that tone as I'm some fucking geopolitical guru. Then don't fucking assume such an asinine, idiotic stance as though you are knowledgeable. Hamas, because they steal food and aid. Israel doesn't allow food and aid. Hamas doesn't even steal food and aid. You have no fucking evidence for this. As a matter of fact, Hamas, or at least the governing body of Hamas, the civil governance affairs of Hamas, the internal police force, unironically actually made sure that aid was distributed in an even manner. Israel killed the people that were doing that. Hamas actually executes the thugs that the Israeli occupying force arms and allows to operate that do actually steal the aid. You know who fucking executes those guys? Hamas does. Are you going to fucking complain about that? The people that are stealing the aid, Hamas executes. With the limited capabilities that they have, as Israel is doing a 24/7 surveillance campaign and mass bombing in the fucking strip. Hamas killed babies, you say? That one, I can't even fucking begin to explain. If you think that Hamas is a far worse baby killing machine, you are delusional, okay? Israel has killed, what, at this point, 10, 20,000 times more children than Hamas did? Like, what is the number of children that Israel has killed? Like, I think there was one child, like under the age of 18, I think there was like 4 on October 7, which is a horrible, horrible fucking crime, okay? Not even sure if that was a byproduct of the Hannibal Directive, before we even talk about that, considering that Israel also literally unleashed helicopter fire on the Nova Festival survivors that were trying to escape. That's number one. And number two, the children that were killed in the kibbutzim. And guess how they were killed in the kibbutzim? Israeli tank fire. So the idea that like those deaths are directly attributed to the to Hamas militancy is also, you know, we don't know. We don't know if that's the case or not. This isn't to say that Hamas didn't kill civilians. They certainly did. It's on camera. We've seen the fucking footage. That's an atrocity. I don't think that's appropriate in any way, shape, or form. Meanwhile, having said that, Israel has killed 18,000 children. What the fuck are you talking about? I think it was about 36 under the age of 18, one of them being an infant. Yeah, there was one. They just released 5,000 pages of dead Palestinian names, and the first 18 pages were babies under the age of 1. So having dead and alive hostages is okay because Israel kills them so badly? One must ask the question, if you care about the hostages, because like clearly you don't care about Palestinians, you only care about Jews in this situation. Palestinians are not human. Jews are the only people that you entertain as human beings, which, by the way, is a dynamic that also Hamas and every Palestinian understands, which is precisely the way that the reason why they took fucking hostages to begin with, okay? Even though it is illegal to do so, and I understand that. But it turns out Israel doesn't even care about Israeli Jews because they killed most of the fucking hostages that died. So what are we talking about? They sometimes directly shot them because they mistook them for Hamas. Sometimes they blew up buildings where the hostages were inside of said building. Do with that information what you will. Israel is still starving its own Israeli Jewish hostages that are in the hands of Hamas by starving the entirety of the Gaza Strip. So when you are faced with that reality, why do you fucking turn around and go, dude, I'm not geopolitical guru. Okay, then know your fucking place. The word tacuara was part of the name of the Argentine fascist movement, Movimiento Nacionalista Tacuara, the Tacuara nationalist movement. Nice. Good argument, though, chatter. What happened? Cool, thanks. You little Nazi freak.
Days away in 1 week and 1 day. Coming out in just a few days. Comes out Tuesday. You will not believe what we found out.
Don't news people have to tell you what they know when they find it out? Isn't that the difference between news and a secret? You won't believe what we found out. No, that's why I'm watching. Breaking news in a week. Now, I don't know how the rest of the country is feeling about this book coming out, but I know New York.
To be fair, it's not like this is breaking news. Like, breaking news, water is wet. You can't wait to read all about it in my upcoming book, Water is Wet. You know, there is no surprise. There is no surprise here. Like, oh my God, I can't believe Biden was so old. A reality that virtually every American was aware of. This is only breaking news to members of the media that, I guess, bludgeoned their heads silly until they couldn't see Biden as a belligerent old man. Every time I say water is wet. Water isn't wet, though. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Oh, my science ass motherfuckers.
New York City, baby! The city! The city that never stops reading. That's our motto. Our motto is... I'm kidding, of course. That is footage from the reopening of the Frick Museum. By the way, it is New York, so you know the real name of the museum is the Collection. They just put it up there like, hey, the friggin' collection? What are we doing here? So what is this Bombshell book about?
A new book is outlining new claims about former President Biden's physical and mental health. The book, Original Sin, claims Biden's health had become so severe that there were internal discussions about putting the president in a wheelchair.
He allegedly was napping during debate preparations.
Another bombshell. Former President Biden apparently forgot the name of his longtime aide, Jake Sullivan, and called him Steve.
My God! To be fair, when you forget a white guy's name, to be fair, and I say this with respect to the Bombshell, Steve is not a bad guess. I think even Jake Sullivan at some point was like, is my name Steve? Because when I look in the mirror, I could be a Steve. Or a Scott, maybe a Craig. The point is, the American news media were hungry for more.
A new Biden bombshell. Dropping bombshell allegations. A steady drip of new revelations.
Yeah, he showed you all. Respect to Biden, by the way, for coming out on top and hitting the ultimate button, the I have cancer, so I bet you're going to feel stupid now button. The more I see how much the media hyped up this fucking book that is supposed to be this bombshell revelation, which is Biden is old. Okay? He was very old. Bombshell revelation, HasanAbi, Twitter account, 2019. Biden is very old. How could he have foreseen this? Oh my God. A bombshell revelation that 75% of Americans were aware of in 2022.
Damning claims.
Damaging new details.
Oh my goodness, they're dripping with details. A massive tsunami. The drip on Joe Biden's decline.
My God, Fox News built an entire Biden sucks border wall to hold back the raging drips of details and bombshells. Nothing could slow down this coming feeding news frenzy about Biden's cognitive health, other than maybe a report on his actual physical health, which was not good. But now we got ourselves a little problem. You've prepared an entire smorgasbord. Charcuterie board. You know what I'm talking about, meat and cheese. You know what I'm talking about. Entire smorgasbord based on what you thought would be a relatively uncomplicated story about mental decline. News has the countdown clock. They got the book graphics. They got the CNN Happy Meal tie-in toys. But now, doing the story seems almost disrespectful. Can CNN thread the needle? How do you pivot from excitedly promoting your anchor's book to somberly and respectfully promoting your anchor's book?
Biden's health was very much in the news even before the cancer diagnosis was announced on Sunday. That's because of a new book by CNN's Jake Tapper.
This was already going to be a tough week, and this makes it much harder. And that is a reference to the fact that our colleague, Jake Tapper, and Alex Thompson have a book that's set to publish on Tuesday.
This very tough news, this very challenging news, and at the same time, the backdrop of our colleague Jake Tapper's book with Alex Thompson coming out this week.
It's so hard. It's such a difficult time, so unfathomable in terms of the pain his family must be feeling. And yet, if you act now and you use the code / tap that book, you will obviously this 20% off offer is not available for some reason in Tennessee. But the point is, forgetting about the fact how weird it is that the news is selling you a booze they should have told you was news a year ago for free. It's just fun. It's just fun to watch them not only continue to push the book in light of this difficult news, but to actually frame this difficult news as perhaps even more of a reason to buy this book.
The timing of former President Joe Biden's cancer diagnosis is certainly dramatic, coming on the eve of a blockbuster new book about his health and his time in the White House.
Go on.
I'm sure some observers will say that the reporting in the book is even more important now.
Yet nobody's saying that. No observers will say it's more important now. Some observers might think, do these CNN people work on commission? Like, why are they hawking this fucking thing? Is this a Girl Scout cookie situation? Whoever sells the most Tapper book.
Jake Tapper fucking controls CNN like the goddamn Navy, dude. Like, the fact that all of these other anchors are like constantly pumping the book is so crazy. I guess partially because like Tapper is one of the most important commentators on CNN, which again, not a great look for CNN. But also Jake Tapper controls the media. No, just CNN. But also, I guess that way they get to like defend their coverage over Biden or their lack of coverage over Biden's senility when it was very obvious.
Folks gets a schwinn. Now, that is not necessarily the model they will get. I don't want to disincentivize people from working hard, obviously. I don't go through all the graphics before the show. While CNN had to shift from somber and caring to always be closing, Fox Fox and the rest of the right-wing media had a very different problem. How to shift from, let's go, Brandon, to get well, Brandon, and then as quickly as possible back to, let's go, Brandon. Watch them work their magic and see how much weight the word but carries.
It's a terrible thing for him and his family, so I hope he beats it. But look.
I hope he beats it, but not too fast.
I have 30 seconds for my...
You want to enjoy this? But what?
But look, I don't believe that they just found out Friday, but because they're not credible on anything they've done.
So true. Yeah, I'll bet he didn't find out Friday. I bet he found out like Wednesday. And then they were all like, oh my God, this is terrible. Should we tell this guy? And then they're like, oh, I don't know, why don't we tell the family first? And then they're like, yeah, but what if this guy really wants to know? I got to tell you, I think this all really highlights an opening in the greeting card market. We don't have enough cards that swing wildly from sympathy to accusation.
When's he gonna fucking rip more into? I thought he was gonna rip more into like Brandon too. Like, who gives a fuck?
To hear about
if this
weren't you raising money for cancer last week or something? What did you know exactly? I knew Brandon. Okay, you want to know something? I'll come out and I'll admit it. Okay, listen. 2 weeks ago, I found out that Joseph Robinette Brandon had a debilitating version of ass cancer, also commonly known as prostate cancer. And when I found out that this was happening, I contacted iDubbbz, who I knew was raising money for cancer. I told him, iDubbbz, let's do a fundraiser for cancer. This way, I knew that as soon as I started fundraising for cancer, my podcaster co-host, former podcast co-host Ethan Klein, would inevitably position himself against cancer. He would join the side of cancer on the war against cancer. This way, knowing full well that once the news would hit mainstream media that Biden had prostate cancer, and I started talking about how I don't care that he has cancer, especially considering that he's a war criminal responsible for many cancer wards being destroyed in the Gaza Strip in the hands of Israel as he continued this death and destruction campaign gladly and willingly, and wanted it to continue so bad that he actually gave up the administration to Donald Trump, a fascist that would continue Israel's genocide on the Gaza Strip. I knew that Ethan Klein would turn around and now, all of a sudden, take an inconsistent position after only 2 weeks prior taking a position that was objectively pro-cancer,